Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Money Means Business. Today we do have a number of economic files which we are going to analyze together and to cover together. We do have a specialist who is going to answer all our questions regarding a lot of events which took place in the past 7 days. Whether the initiative of Maaki, which launched by the Egyptian state to train 1 million women in tech entrepreneurship, and those women are not here in Cairo or in the big cities, but they are scattered all over the country and in specific to focus on Upper Egypt. Also today we are going to take a quick look at the most important stops in the inspection tour of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli in the new Alamein city. And we are going also to go to Kuwait as Minister of Industry Kamel al-Wazir was there heading a high-ranking delegation to discuss boosting relations with Kuwait in different domains, and particularly in industry and in the mega infrastructure projects to take place in Kuwait by Egyptian hands and by Egyptian companies. All this and more in our episode, and we are going to start immediately right after this, so stay tuned.
In a regional landscape characterized by the redistribution of influence and alliances, Egyptian-Kuwaiti relations stand out as one of the silent paths taking shape, hidden from the noise. Yet, they are confidently moving toward building an unconventional model for Arab economic partnership. Egyptian-Kuwaiti relations are not merely investments or trade exchanges, but rather a qualitative shift in the philosophy. Cairo's economic priorities intersect with Kuwait's aspirations to reposition itself financially and geopolitically, creating what can be called an alliance of precise calculations between the two countries. An alliance based not only on traditional brotherly sentiments, but also on figures, strategies, and interests spanning from ports to energy, from banking to economic security. This comes at a critical moment that requires Arab capitals to reshape their relations not with flattering statements, but with the logic of depth and necessity. Indicating that bilateral relations between Egypt and Kuwait have entered a new phase, built on figures and direct interests, Lieutenant General Kamel al-Wazir, Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transport, paid a several-day visit to Kuwait, during which he discussed several important issues. He was received by Sheikh Sabah Khalid Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, Crown Prince of Kuwait, who emphasized that this visit is a testament to the brotherly Kuwaiti-Egyptian relationship, which represents the cornerstone in serving our brotherly peoples. On the commercial front, the volume of trade exchange between the two countries reached $514 million in 2024, of which $390 million were Egyptian exports to Kuwait, including food products, pharmaceuticals, and building materials. Meanwhile, Cairo imports crude oil and some petroleum derivatives from Kuwait and petrochemicals. Data from the Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics indicates that the number of Egyptians working in Kuwait is approximately 500,000, and their annual remittances amount to approximately $4.6 billion, representing approximately 20% of the total remittances of Egyptians from the Gulf. This makes Kuwait a vital partner, not only in terms of investment, but also in supporting Egypt's balance of payments. It is noteworthy that the delegation accompanying the Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Development includes the heads of 17 companies specialized in infrastructure and mega projects. These companies are eager and interested in cooperating with the Kuwaiti side to implement the development projects and basic interconnection projects planned by the Kuwaiti government at very reasonable prices. with high-quality standards according to the specified timetables, with the required speed and in line with Kuwaiti priorities and standards. During his participation in the Egyptian-Kuwaiti Investment Forum, held at the headquarters of the Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kamil al-Wazir, Minister of Industry and Transport, said that Egypt has made significant strides in recent years in building a modern, productive and knowledge-based economy through comprehensive reform programs that include infrastructure development, the implementation of an urgent plan to develop the industrial sector, and the creation of an investment climate that contributes to attracting local and foreign capital. Egyptian-Kuwaiti economic relations represent a distinguished model of partnership for development. Ambassador Oussama Shaltout, Egypt's ambassador to Kuwait, emphasized that the trajectory of economic relations between the two countries, in parallel with the political and popular pathos, adds further strength and importance to these relations. These relations have also been strengthened by mutual visits at the level of political leaders and investment delegations. He emphasized that there is a genuine will among Kuwaiti investors to increase these investments in the Egyptian market, which is viewed as a promising market given the attractive investment returns it offers to investors.
Welcome back. Upon presidential directives, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held an inspection tour in New Al-Alamein city, visiting a number of mega projects accompanied by a number of top executives. And he made sure that all these mega projects are implemented on the ground according to the timetable and to eliminate all the obstacles in front, whether of the public or private sector. Here there is this kind of partnership between both to make sure that we are going into the right direction to realize all of the Sustainable Development Goals of Egypt 2030. To shed more light on the tour, to shed more light on the important stops in the inspection tour of the Premier, and to continue with the other economic files, we are very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio Dr. Khedr, our Economic and Investment Specialist. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you.
And to start with, as we said, the inspection tour of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and even before being on air, you told me that you want to focus on certain points. And to start with the water salination station, which is really, I can say, a turning point or a pillar of all the efforts exerted on the ground to turn the North Coast into an urban area and to an investment hub even to receive entrepreneurs or startups all over the year and in many domains. If you want to elaborate on that.
Actually, the water desalination station there is an exploratorial station to test approaches and diverse mechanisms for water desalination. The importance of water desalination for us in Egypt is very grave and to be considered one of the cornerstones to be built upon, as since 2021 we have suffered from many precautionary decisions regarding agriculture, and accordingly some implications due to this decrease because of the water scarcity and what has happened with the Renaissance Dam. And the fears from lowering our water share and all its related issues.
Nothing happened, and inshallah nothing is going to happen.
Nothing
but
happened
when we
to
talk
our share,
about
of course.
Precautionary measures,
exactly.
Yes, we do have precautionary measures,
exactly.
but no more than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The precautionary measures have impacted us on the supply chains of food national security and agribusiness security supply chain. Which means that the availability of water for irrigation, for drinking, for industrial usage, for even materializing products from seawater and seashore is very essential to continue sustainable economic activities, ensuring the continuity of life in these cities. Accordingly, the desalination water station is very important pillar. As it's known for most of us, the governmental plan or the governmental program 2030 is based on the SDGs. SDGs are based on sustainability of life and providing fair and decent factors for life. Egypt has no more than 10%, 11% urbanized from its areas, among with around 4 to 5 million fidans, I presume, are cultivated, and we are trying to double them now by what is being done by new cultivation. Even
the new delta,
exactly.
1.5 million new
Exactly.
fedans, and
Exactly.
yeah,
and other projects,
and other
of course.
projects, yes.
Providing there is a source of fresh water or desalinated water in the north coast provides a vein of life for the desert, for the West Desert. Especially we have in the West Desert the oases, Kharga, Dakhla, Al Farafra, and Siwa. All these are very vital, productive locations for many of Egypt's pioneering products outside, like palms, like dates, like olives, like many other things. And having desalinated water there, we can use the desert backyard of the north coast to urban more and cultivate more.
To build more urban communities and to attract the youth to start their lives there.
Not only urban communities, agriculture communities, and provide more cultivated areas to provide strategic crops that could limit and overcome some of our shortages.
Amen to that. And to add to what you have just said, sir, medical tourism. Medical tourism in these places in specific, I think, according to our knowledge or the data which were released by
but what you are talking about is in the front yard of the north coast. I'm talking about the back desert yard of the north coast.
To focus on this, Ras Al Hikma, for example, because today Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli also instructed the speed up on roads and utilities in Ras Al Hikma and Shams Al Hikma, stressing the need to increase labor and equipment to meet the timelines, and this is exactly what we were talking about.
About this point, it's a very critical point in the current days, as we are suffering from high wages, lower opportunities for non-custom or non-usual laborhood, which means that we are opening new phases or new chances for them to work in new destinations, making new communities, making new urbanized cities, and supporting the new cities with populations or core populations to start with.
Amen to that. And also, one of the stops, it was with the exhibition of the two showrooms of the Arab Organization for Industrialization. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's too wrong. Because the Prime Minister was really keen to inspect all the products, whether wood products, furniture, electronics, to make sure that all the obstacles on the way are totally eliminated, and that the Arab Organization for Industrialization is having this share in localizing industry and making sure to make the biggest use of our local components.
Actually, as you have mentioned, Arab Industrial Organization, they have achieved a lot of steps over the past 7 to 10 years, localizing the assembly of many locomotives here in Egypt, having their factories shifting from just military usage or governmental usage to
furniture, to
not only furniture.
utilities.
We're talking about something more than that. We're talking
Appliances,
about
I mean, I'm sorry.
technical, educational, and vocational experiences. Many production facilities of Arab Industrial Organization has turned into technical schools to furbish and enhance our labor with needed skills and export needed Egyptian skills to outside. What we call in our industry the TVET programs, okay, the technical education programs. This has been suffering over the past 30 years, despite we have some trials to cover it up, yet the success of these trials was a little bit limited due to the capacity, due to the financing, due to many reasons. Among of these reasons was the culture. Currently, in the rural areas and in the rural cities of Egypt, many people are going to head at the direction of blue collars, not white collars. Here in Egypt, our main problem with the youth specifically is most of them are going to the white collars, an accountant, an engineer, a lawyer, an architect, whatever. However, the main pillar for development and industrial development and increasing our industrial base for more experts is the blue collars. As the old English say, the army cannot only march with its officers. Unless there is soldiers, you cannot conquer a piece of land.
Yeah.
Accordingly, we cannot.
But I think now, sir, this culture is totally different,
No,
and there is kind of awareness among the youth.
Yes, there's some awareness. However,
give me one vocational or technical school which does not have a waiting list for those who want to apply and who want to be graduated from the school.
You're talking about the situation now. Talk about this situation 36 months ago.
No, I'm talking about what's going on now, because as far as I know, that whether in El Dab'a, you're going to find nuclear engineers. In Ras Al Hikma, you are going to find
tourism, industrial engineering,
of
course.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is due to the efforts that has been done in the TVET programs with many of the international organizations and many of the governmental organizations, hand in hand with the private sector over the past 36 months to try.
And it's their duty.
Okay, I didn't say it's not their duty.
This is the corporate social responsibility we were teaching, and you were teaching.
We're not talking about only corporate social responsibility here. We're talking about the impact of social and environmental activities of the companies, and their spillover effect should have these issues. Yet, without these schools, no mega industrial corporation can last for decades, such as white goods, house white goods, commodities.
Sir,
and of course,
these schools and without those graduates from these
no
schools,
factories would be working.
And we were going to suffer from illegal migration.
Exactly.
Now, the case is totally different.
The case is totally different.
You do not need just to risk your life to
find an opportunity to work.
You can find opportunity here in Egypt. Amen to that.
Exactly.
So, sir, before going to another file, how do you see the renovation of the North Coast map? I mean, now the new Alamein city, now you are going to have mega projects, you're going to have Ras Al Hikma. In the new Alamein city, you can have the festival, which is being made for a year after the other, with more success each year, attracting more Arab visitors from all over the Arab world. And it's the process is going on. How do you see even the rate of achievements?
Let me quote two of my favorite personnels. The first is engineer Hisham Talat Mustafa, who was on a screen a couple of days ago, and he was talking about why North Coast and why some of his projects are located there. He said we are in a very competitive tourism market.
Sure.
We are trying to achieve and overcome some of the finest destinations in the North Med.
Yep.
Accordingly, North Coast and New Alamein is one of the highest living standards that can achieve and overcome. Let's say, for example, Nice, Monaco, and Marseille, Spain, and
Spain.
many other destinations. This is my first quote. The second quote that I'm going to use is the Old English say, which says, it doesn't count what you have. What counts, what can you do by what you have. You might have very high resources. However, your utilization and usage for these resources cannot give you the required return efficiently to be having a fair life. There is an old story that we have been told while we were children. A small agriculture personnel has found in his land, while he was digging, a pot of gold. He was furious about it. He took it, he cuddled it, and went into his room for days, not eating, not seeing his wife, not seeing his children, not seeing anybody in the city. However, he went for this for months. Then he went to the city, having the same pot of gold, where he suffered from hunger, thirst, and non-adequate clothes, until he started selling of his gold to achieve what he was missing.
Basic needs.
Decent life, decent water, decent food, decent clothes. Then he returned to his country. He started giving from what he found. The main ethical of the story is, if you started to give, you would be receiving. Until you start to give, you will not be receiving anything. The same thing with the North Coast. North Coast story started many years ago, I presume in the mid-80s of the last century. However, it didn't start to pay off until the regime or the Egyptian state started to be aware that this is not an occasional destination, it should be a permanent destination.
Not seasonal.
Not seasonal, exactly. Accordingly, labor started to go there, projects started to be built there. Accordingly, laborers have their families, a new economy started there. The new economy needed an
direct
infrastructure.
jobs and indirect jobs,
Exactly,
and you name
exactly.
it. And even,
a full cycle was constructed. Accordingly, the North Coast became to life. Otherwise, over the past 40 or 50 years, it was coming to life once a year, which was not.
Even the tourism experts, sir, are saying that before, I mean, let's say 2 decades ago or something, you are going to find that our tourism season is from September to March in the winter, but now it's all over the year because of the North Coast, and
this is why we have
achieved
it almost
into
the same
our
numbers
roadmap,
of 2010.
or our tourism roadmap.
We are achieving now, I presume, 13 million tourists a year. And
nearly 15.
Nearly 15,
yeah.
This year.
And inshallah, we do hope that this number is going to be doubled by 2030, inshallah. Sir, let's go to Maaki and to the initiative which was launched to train 1 million women in tech entrepreneurship. 1 million? 1 million, how do you see the number? Because many people are seeing that,
actually,
oh, this
I
is
see it
huge.
very close.
What?
I see it very close. It's a small number.
Compared to?
Compared to what have mass media have achieved. They have already achieved more than 900,000 women being trained across their projects.
Sir, how do you see such initiatives in general? and how to have this relation between them and Creativa, for example?
Okay, this is a very tricky question actually. Anyway, Maaki is mainly dedicated for rural areas and Upper Egypt women who have their entrepreneurship projects mainly in producing and marketing even food crawler or social products or services. Accordingly, they might lack some marketing services. If we talked about an entrepreneur who's focusing his activities on his own community only, it will not be very successful and will not achieve the growth phase effectively. However, if he depended on exiting his comfort zone, his own community, and started approaching new communities across the country, he will be approaching new markets. He will be promising. He will be looking into a new ocean from a boat in a lake. Accordingly, this is what is the main aim of this initiatives, is to give these women some tools to see where is the ocean from their lake. They are on their boat, which is a small project. They have their community, which they sufficiently covering their costs and covering their needs. However, if they stay this way, we are talking about Nokia story again, or BlackBerry story again.
Sir, if you permit me, without mentioning companies, returning to this, I see it as a puzzle. And you know, the all pieces of the puzzle should be there to have the picture or to form the picture.
Of course, it's a supply chain integration, of course.
Yeah, and financial inclusion.
Exactly.
And also, there are statements which were said here, and I think that they are very important, and to make sure that we are gaining as a state that trust of the new entrepreneurs or the startups. The Egyptian government continues to reassure stakeholders of its commitment to economic reform. Egypt's economy expanded by 4.8% in the third quarter of this fiscal year, up from 4.2% in the 9 months. These were the statements which were released by His Excellency Finance Minister Ahmed Kojuk, who told a seminar on fiscal policy between financing challenges and growth aspirations. Here, I'm talking about this integration,
yes,
and also about the partnership between the private and public sectors, and also
these are
between
the
the
political aims of these initiatives. However, the economical aims we are talking about.
Can I separate them?
Of course.
How?
Of course.
How I can separate politics from economy, sir?
We have to look both of them in parallel, not integrated.
Okay.
So we do not mix them up. Yes, we are looking for financial inclusion. We are looking for financial empowerment. We are looking for leveling up their economical standards, what we call economic empowerment. Okay? We are looking for decent standard of living, so to be ensured that the regime or the state is providing the tools for decent life. However, the economic side of the equation says that supply chain integration for them as entrepreneurs, opening new markets through tools and digital marketing tools to be teach to them, having them eligible for financing and bankable, for having bank accounts to be financially included after that. Also having their scheme and community upgraded and involved into the technological and fintech society that we are all living in today.
So let's continue with that and build on what you've just said with other statements by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kojuk. He said the next year he hopes to triple allocation supporting the economy, double export funding, launch more initiatives supporting the industrial and tourism sectors and entrepreneurship.
This should be
triple?
yes.
Isn't it that ambitious, or this is
No.
applicable?
It's applicable.
How?
We are talking about budget of state around 400 million USDs, billion USDs, sorry. Accordingly, we are talking about trillions of Egyptian pounds. We are talking about a market that is nearly 110 million capita. We are talking about new communities being urbanized. We are talking about youth percentage over 53%. We are talking about a huge economical power that can be lifted off if directed right. Okay? Egypt accounts for nearly 34% of the total population of the Arab world.
Yeah.
Nearly accounts for less than 5% of the total land of the Arab world. Accordingly, all this huge population with this land mass, can you imagine how it can be the basket of grains for the world again, as it has been during World War II and during the 16th and 17th century?
We were Egypt and Sudan.
Even though, no, in the 16th century, we were only Egypt and Sudan wasn't with us. Even though in the 16th century, we were up to only Luxor. We didn't have that portion of Aswan and the High Dam and the Noba.
We are Kemet, the very fertile land. Amen to that, sir. And I think what's going on the ground is to regain this position once again, and to know that we are not aiming only at meeting the demands of our local market, but exports is a top priority.
To achieve the exporting goals that has been set by the Minister of Finance, we have to increase our industrial base. We have to consider that imports is a key input for our exports. Let's take, for example, Japan. Japan have no natural resources at all. Have no aluminum bauxite, have no coal, have no charcoal.
Silica.
Also silica, they don't have any of it. They don't have any lithium or magnesium or any of the products or inputs for the electric lithium batteries
Chips.
And the microchips. However, who is the first exporter for electronic batteries, electric cars, technologies, aluminium and household goods? It's Japan. How this comes? Because they are the highest importer for the raw material.
Since you mentioned that, sir, we are having this very balanced relations with countries all over the world. Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade Hassan Al-Khatib participated in a business seminar organized by the Japan External Trade Organization in cooperation with our GAFI and the Egyptian Trade Office in Tokyo. And during the event, the minister reviewed the main aspects of the current phase of economic transformation for sustainable growth in collaboration with our allies there in Japan. How do you see this, sir, as one of the main pillars of our economic exchange with our allies, meaning that it's not only about exchanging volumes of trade, it's about exchanging the know-how, the technology?
Actually, this relation has not started officially by this visit or late visits.
No, we built on what was achieved before.
Exactly. The main achievement that we have with Japan was nearly 50 years ago. A great group that has been established and a great businessman who started it, God rest his soul, and started with the reverse engineering with their approval, transforming their know-how in fans, coolers, the ACs, refrigerators, televisions, and started even some
and the
Egyptian
Japanese
brands.
schools here is a very successful experience, educational service, which is really uncomparable.
They have contributed in their TEBET schools with this group and other groups. Okay, Currently, I know there are some negotiations with the Japanese authorities for having their facilities for producing some parts of electrical cars and some others.
EVs, yeah.
And some others companies or groups would be responsible for the assembly. Among of them, of course, Arab Industrial Organization,
Yes.
as we have mentioned.
A great
Okay.
host of senior Japanese government officials and, which is in my humble opinion more important, representatives of more than 200 Japanese companies and investment delegations have participated in the event.
Yes, yes. All this aiming in one direction, having the contribution and the share for the Japanese business community on the Egyptian soil in partnership with the Egyptian private and public sectors to achieve their footstep in Africa, Middle East industrial exporting hub before the opportunities
Dr.
run out.
Nader, I have only 1 minute and I do have a statement or a piece of news which I really want you to comment on, okay? Egyptian pound hits highest level against dollar in 2025.
And it will continue to rise. We are looking at some magnificent numbers by July 27th.
Inshallah. On this very optimistic note, I'm going to end our episode. Thank you very much for your input, sir.
Thank you very much.
We were very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio Dr. Nader Khedr, our economic and investment specialist. Now I'm going to review the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nurmeen Abdurrahman.
On the sidelines of a promotional tour conducted by a delegation from the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone, SC Zone, to several Chinese provinces, Walid Gamaluddin, chairman of the Suez Canal Zone, signed 3 contracts for new industrial projects in the clothing and textile sector within the Qantara West Industrial Zone. These contracts, with a total investment of $65.5 million, equivalent to approximately 3.2 billion Egyptian pounds, are self-financed by the companies. These projects are expected to provide approximately 6,000 direct job opportunities, with 90% of production directed towards export to international markets. The Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources and Dana Gas announced promising results from the Begonia well and the commencement of recompletion work on the Balsam 3 well in the Nile Delta onshore Egypt. The well represents the first phase of Dana Gas's $100 million investment program aimed at supporting domestic gas production, increasing reserves, and meeting growing energy demand. Drilling results showed that the well contained approximately 9 billion cubic feet of gas as a preliminary estimate, with potential for increases. The well is expected to add approximately 5 million cubic feet per day to production, contributing to a boost in long-term production levels and increasing total additional gas quantities by approximately 80 billion cubic feet. The Egyptian pound recorded strong performance against the US dollar, rising to its highest level in 8 months, approaching 49 Egyptian pound in most banks. This improvement was driven by several factors, most notably increased foreign currency inflows into the country from tourism, exports, and remittances from Egyptians working abroad. These inflows were further boosted by Gulf real estate purchases in Egypt. Electronic screens in banks showed the dollar falling to its lowest levels since last May. The average buying price reached about 49.02 Egyptian pound, while the selling price stabilized at 49.12 Egyptian pounds. This compares to Monday's levels, which ranged between 49.17 and 49.30 Egyptian pound, reflecting a decline of approximately 15 to 18 piasters in less than 24 hours. Jordanian businessman Talal Abu Ghazala emphasized that the economy has nothing to do with currency and that the financial situation has nothing to do with currency. Currency, however, is related to monetary, fiscal, and economic policies. Talal continued saying that the status of many countries will change not only in Egypt, but also in many other countries. The number one country will be China, not the United States, followed by India, and Egypt will be number 7 in the world. Abu Ghazala emphasized that Egypt's GDP growth will exceed 8%, the highest rate in the world. This is due to 2 reasons: its large population and its investment in infrastructure to build wealth. According to data from the central bank, remittances from Egyptians working abroad saw significant surge in the period from July to May of the 2024-2025 fiscal year, increasing by 69.6% to approximately $32.8 billion, compared to approximately $19.4 billion during the same period the previous year. The period from January to May 2025 also witnessed a 59% year-on-year increase in remittances, reaching approximately $15.8 billion compared to approximately $9.9 billion. In a move to boost the Egyptian automotive industry, a Japanese company specializing in the production of wires, cables, and optical fibers has submitted a request to the General Authority for Investment to provide a ready-made factory with an area of 10,000 square meters in Alexandria to establish a factory to manufacture electrical components for various types of cars. The company plans to invest between $70 to $100 million and intends to export the entire factory's production to European markets, taking advantage of the competitive advantages offered by Egypt's geographical location near auto factories in the European Union and Saudi Arabia. Foreign real estate purchases in Egypt increased by 91% during the first 9 months of the last fiscal year, reaching $1.6 billion compared to $840 million during the same period in the previous fiscal year. Commenting on this, Ahmad Abdullah, a member of the Real Estate Investment Division of the Federation of Chambers of Commerce, confirmed that the real estate sector represents 20% of the gross domestic product and provides 14% of the total labor force in Egypt. He pointed out that real estate sales reached approximately 840 billion Egyptian pound by the end of August of this year.